Was it from last week? There wasn't a print?
I'll print some.
Yeah, we'll get you a hard copy right
Thank
now.
you.
Okay, so number 4 on the agenda is the confirmation of the minutes. And if I could have the resolution for that, please.
Resolve the minutes of February 8th, 2022 regular planning meeting of council be adopted as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Second. Councillor Sutherland. Any corrections or amendments to the minutes from February the 8th? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Our delegation is not here at this time, so we will move on to communications for action, and we can do a couple of those resolutions prior to our delegation arriving. The first one we have is the Association of Rural Municipalities, the meeting notice. ARM is again starting with in-person, starting their meetings again. They didn't have any virtual ones. The first one they are having is March the 3rd, and it is in Lorette. We do have the invitation there, and I guess it's being brought forward to see if who's interested in going. Deepak, do you have anything you'd like to add today?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One of the things that needed to verify was whether the RMSA Clements would be presenting at this meeting. And I've verified with the ARM that the RMSA Clements, St. Andrews, and Springfield will be presenting.
Okay, so we'll be doing our report. I guess they do them every so often, and I know that we were supposed to do ours way back. I think it was for the December meeting, and then because it was Christmas, it was postponed. So go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
You're muted, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could Mr. Administrator share his screen with us?
Sure.
Thank you.
And so the meeting's at 5:30, it starts, and it'll be 6 p.m. As you know, it's, the meeting is occurring on March the 3rd, so, which with the provincial legislation, there wouldn't, provincial health guidelines, there wouldn't be a requirement for verification of passports, the COVID passports, but masks are still required as part of the COVID protocol until March the 15th.
Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Bazarovich.
Yeah, it's just, it still says in the invitation here that proof of vaccination is required.
It does, because the meeting was sent out earlier before the decision of the province to change the COVID health guidelines. So I think it'll be up to them as to whether they're going to require it or not. At this point, we would say that, you know, it's anticipated that they might ask because the invitation went out earlier, but I don't have any concerns to worry about, at least in the case of council. Everyone on council is double vaxxed.
But I guess, what does that mean I mean, we are all double vaxxed and we all know that, but I guess when we're talking to others from other municipalities, is there a requirement for us to wear our masks, or is that at your discretion? Because you don't know who you're talking to. If I go up to another council member, you don't know if they're double vaxxed or not.
Until March the 15th, the mask requirements are still required.
Okay.
I would assume that they would be still adhered to. And then after March 15th, there wouldn't be a requirement.
Okay.
I'm just going by what the invitation says, and I haven't heard anything different.
Well, I guess the invitation was sent out before the rules changed, so, because it's been in the office for a while, so. Okay, so, well, go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
Even though the rules are changing, if one chooses to wear their mask anywhere and any time, that is completely up to them. So
Right.
I'm just going to say there's going to be a lot of people when they start going out in public, they're going to feel comfortable wearing their mask, and they'll probably wean themselves off it after a while. But if you're talking to somebody else and you're wearing their mask and they're not, that's completely, as everybody knows, that's completely fine.
Okay, so having said that, I guess I will ask the question, who from council is interested in attending this meeting other than Councillor Bazarowicz, because I'm sure he's going to be going, he is on the executive. And myself, I would go because we are presenting, and I believe that our administrator will be coming along with us also. So who else from council is interested in joining us? Okay, I'm not seeing a lot of takers there, so I guess it will be Deepak, Glenn, and myself. And I will put it out there, if anybody else changes their mind before the end of this week, please let the office know, and we can add you to the list. Do we have a resolution, Deepak?
Yes, we do. Just reloading it, and then I'll... Resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and Councillors Basarowicz be authorized to attend the ARM meeting in the ARM Attaché on Thursday, March 3rd, 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, second. Councillor Boulanger, any further discussion? Go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, normally we don't do a resolution for this because we're all members.
The municipality is members, but we usually do a resolution as to who's going, I think. Anyways,
We have
it's
in
on the
past.
floor now, yeah, it's on the floor. So I have a mover, I have a seconder, all those in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next item we have is a Association of Manitoba Municipalities, the ARM invitation to the 2022 Spring Convention, and that is going to be held in Brandon, and it's in person only, I believe I read somewhere, so Deepak, if you want to add anything to that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This will be for 3 days, April 19th, 2021, and it's slated, recommended for all mayors, CAOs, and they're going to have several sessions. There's also an education workshop being offered in the morning and afternoon on the 19th that deals with some issues that have been sort of prevalent in the news lately regarding harassment of council members. The convention starts on the 21st, and so what we're looking for is to see who's planning on attending, and then we'll take care of the bookings for those individuals and the hotel stays.
Okay, so who is planning to attend? The other thing that is happening, and I don't know that we got anything at this point in time, but on the Tuesday, the 19th, I believe that is, I believe we're still having our Manitoba Good Roads banquet, and our municipality did have one winner, so I'm not sure if that makes a difference to anybody, whether you're going to go or not, but if you're going to go to the spring convention, you will be there for the Good Roads banquet. So who is interested in going to the AMM spring convention? Glenn? Scott? Anyone else? I know it is a ways away yet. Go ahead, Sandra, or is that a yes?
I'm sitting on the fence on it. When is the deadline again?
Well, I don't know that there's so much of a deadline for the conference itself. It's more for the rooms to be, I think we do have rooms, but there's probably a time limit as to when they have to be canceled by, so it's more to do with that. But I would say that, I mean, this isn't till April, so I would think that if you knew by the, I'm gonna throw it out there, by the first meeting in March, if you're gonna go or not, or even mid-March, then that should be all right. I'm just throwing that out there.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? Go ahead, Councillor Horbis.
I have the same question.
Go ahead, Councillor Horbis.
Does this, if you book it ahead, do we have to pay for it, like each council, or does you have to pay for this thing, or what? Yeah, eh?
Yes, there is a registration fee, and we'll also be booking hotel rooms for council members because it is for 3 days.
Okay.
there is a registration for the conference plus the hotel room if you're going to, well, obviously if you're going for the conference, you're going to stay. You're not gonna drive back and forth from Brandon, so there is the room. And I believe that some rooms have been booked already. It's just a matter of, do we have too many rooms and can the staff cancel some of them if not everybody is gonna attend?
I hope to be going away in April, but who knows, so.
Okay.
Me too, Brandon.
Okay, so, like I say, I mean, that's right after Easter weekend, I can tell you that. Like, Easter Monday is the day before the conference starts. I think Easter Monday is the 18th and the conference starts on the 19th. So, go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Am I in trouble administration to give us like the deadline dates for both the hotel room and registering for the, like the early bird registration per se? And then, we can probably firm up our thoughts, because as Sandra said, I'm kind of on the fence too. So,
Okay, well, administration certainly can give us those dates, and do you want to bring this back then for the 8th of March meeting? I believe it's the 8th of March with the dates.
After the 15th, COVID will be running rapid again, so.
So what is the wish? Do you want this held over for that additional information and we'll bring it back for the 15th of March? Or the 8th of March, I should say, sorry.
Okay, well,
This is
Yes,
my-
please.
Okay. Okay, so that's what we'll do, that additional information will be found and we'll bring it back for the 8th. Okay, 6.2 on our agenda is Red River Basin Commission, and there's the north and south chapter meetings are coming up.
These are virtual meetings.
Yes, they are virtual, but I asked that both of them be put on, like we normally just do the north one, but there were some good topics on the south one, and they're both on the same day. One is in the morning, one is in the afternoon, and I'll hand it over to Deepak.
They are in the morning and the afternoon. Thank you, Madam Mayor, you've covered it all. They are virtual, so they're available for any council member to attend both or either one. And the dates are identified in there, and what we were recommending that we just pass a motion, say the mayor and council, and then whoever chooses to attend, there's no cost to this, so it shouldn't matter whether you're registering or not.
Okay, any questions or comments? I'll have Deepak then read the resolution for us, please.
Resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and councillors be authorized to attend the Red River Basin Commission virtual North and South chapter meetings on February 28, 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Bazarowicz seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Manitoba 6.3 Manitoba Emergency Measures Organization, and I will let Deepak speak to this one, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This just came in this morning, and as part of what it covered is the email came in from the Emergency Measures Organization from the province of Manitoba, which identifies that they will be having seminars on March 8th, 9th, and 10th, and these are to talk about the spring outlook and some of the spring conditions, and take a look at some of the various items that are part of it. In there, they have an agenda for the meeting, and it's been circulated to all council and CAOs. We, of course, will have some administration attending this as well, and just wanted to know if anybody in council was interested. I wanted to give you a heads up on it.
Thank you for that, Deepak. When I was looking at it today, and maybe that's what Councillor Sutherland is going to say, when I was looking at it earlier today, I noticed that the March the 10th is also the same day that MAR is having a webinar regarding the help me, Councillor Sutherland, which is the third seminar that they're having?
Sorry, I've got my book with me right now.
Okay.
But my question, yeah, so there's 3 days. These are just virtual?
Yes, these are virtual meetings. And the critical one would be the 10th. No, if you look at the new share on the screen, I've just shared this screen, and what it has is the 3 dates. Tuesday, March 8th, they'll be covering from 9 till noon the Red River Valley and tributaries. Wednesday on the 9th, they're covering the Assiniboine and Souris Rivers. And then Thursday is the North Red River, Interlake, and Northern Manitoba.
I'm sorry, I see that now.
I apologize, I just shared it.
So I'm not,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm not sure who's going to be attending the MAR webinar or who would like to go to this one. I know that this one for EMO, I'm sure that there's going to be some staff that will be attending this one virtually. So any interest for the flood one on the 10th? Go ahead, Sandra.
Could we maybe just have Tyler come back, and, because I know I'm on the MAR, webinar, but could we maybe have Tyler, after he attends this, come back and do a report to council?
Definitely. We will be doing several reports to council, I suspect, this year. This will be one of them.
Okay, so if no one is going to be attending, there's no need for a resolution. If those that have already registered for MAR will keep going. Councillor Sutherland, did you have something more you wanted to share?
Yeah, the second webinar is on this Thursday, 24th.
Right, but I think the third one is on the 10th of March.
I've been looking for that, I can't, sorry, yeah, okay.
So.
I can't find that one yet, I'll keep looking.
Okay, so this one for the EMO, no one will attend other than staff, like no council members, and then Deepak will have Tyler prepare a report and bring it back to council. So there's no resolution required for that one. And that takes us down to number 7 on our agenda, new and other business.
And so,
Go ahead.
7.1, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
And I'll bring up the decision paper for this, which is dealing with our election agreement with the Lord Selkirk School Division. And that's for everyone to see. This is a standard agreement that we do, which allows us to share space for our residents to be able to vote for council members and school board trustees at the same time, at the same location, and for us to share the locations for doing that voting. And this one is the agreement with the Lord Selkirk School Division specifically, and it'll be jointly at our locations where they fall in.
Okay, thank you for that. Do you know if we have agreements with the other school divisions?
This is the first one that's come
Come in,
forward,
okay.
and then we'll be moving forward with the others as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, so there's nothing there, so the next one we have is the...
We have a resolution for that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
If I can just go back and
Yeah.
share with everyone, and then I'll bring up the resolution. Whereas the Municipal Councils and the School Boards Election Act allows for elected authorities to conduct an election or any part of an election or for another elected authority with the agreement of other elected authority. And whereas the Lord Selkirk School Division had proposed that the Arm of St. Clements jointly with the Lord Selkirk School Division undertake the 2022 election process for the municipal and school boards election. Therefore, be it resolved, the mayor and the CEO be authorized to sign an agreement between the Lord Selkirk School Division and the Arm of St. Clements to jointly conduct the 2022 municipal and school board election.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so I believe we're at 7.2, and that is the 2022 gravel program. And I will hand that over to Deepak. We do have some administrative comments there, so hopefully everybody has had an opportunity to review those, but I'll turn it over to Deepak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is the annual tender for the supply and hauling of traffic gravel for the RM of St. Clements. Prior to advertising, council had expressed some concerns to the quality of the gravel. Public Works last year changed parts of that specification and looked at improved quality materials, which Ed has shown, given by the results of last year's program, which have shown that we've had an improved quality. The tender was posted on the website. We contacted all previous bidders and tenders, and it closed on the 15th. The results of the tenders are as follows. On a per ton basis, the traffic gravel is, or gravel is either, or if it's labeled limestone. These are the cheapest prices for each area to help summarize the tenders. So for the tenders, we had quotation per ton of gravel, and we also had quotation for limestone for some of these products, as well as by area. And as you can see, we've had limestone and gravel tenders. So the comments from Public Works is material testing and specifications have increased, ensuring we get the quality of the product. Public Works has increased the penalty fees and the minimum trucks required to haul per day. Last year, Area 1 received traffic gravel from Chabot out of the Pine Ridge pit. Area 4 was Chabot traffic gravel from the Gull Lake pit, and Area 2 and 3 was from inland, which was 3/4 limestone. With using limestone last year, we found it tightened up some of our worst roads, and would like to try this again this year. By going with limestone in areas 1, 2, and 3, this would cost approximately $17,000 more to be added to the budget, or decrease the amount of gravel placed on the roads. Area 4 is significantly more cost to do this year in limestone, so we're recommending only areas 1, 2, and 3. The Public Works recommends awarding 1, 2, and 3 for inland aggregates for the supply and haul of the limestone in the Arm of St. Clements for the agreed price and terms. And this year, the material would be limestone, which would add approximately $17,000 more as suggested. And Public Works recommends awarding Area 4 to Chabot Enterprises for the supplier and hauling of the traffic gravel for the Arm of St. Clements at the agreed upon price in the RFQ.
Okay, questions or comments from council? Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
I just would like to say that it's a small price to pay $17,000, that we're putting limestone in those 3 areas. I hope maybe next year, whoever's here, if there's a area 4 should have limestone next year, switch things around or whatever, but I'm just glad to see that we went this route, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Councillor Sutherland. Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As I said last week as well, I'm happy that we're going with the limestone. It's a superior product. The price point for it is significantly cheaper than it was years ago, so I'm not sure what's bringing it down. I know years ago when we tried using it, it was much more cost prohibitive, and now it's only in one area there, it's $1.78 more a ton. So I'm very pleased, and I'm looking forward to seeing it come down again this year. Thanks.
Thank you for that, Councillor Boulanger. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, if I don't see any hands going up, I will ask our CAO to please read the resolution, and we can accept that tender, and hopefully as soon as the weather is good to do graveling, we'll be on the roads.
Be it resolved that council accept the recommendations of Public Works, authorizing the Public Works manager to award Area 1, 2, and 3 of RFQ 2022-03, the supply and haul of 3/4 inch limestone to inland aggregates at the rates set out in the completed bid form of the tender supplied by Inland Aggregates, and awarding Area 4 to El Chabot Enterprises for the supply of and haul of traffic gravel in the Arma St. Clements for the agreed price and terms listed in the RFQ 2022-03, graveling supply and hauling.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horvis, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, 7.3 on our agenda is the Red River Basin Commission, the 2022 membership and the invoice for same. Deepak, did you want to speak to that one, please?
This is a request to continue our membership, similar in price to last year's price with the Red River Basin Commission. And they sent us a letter, as you can see, that's being shared on screen, which thanked us for all the work for the funding, which allowed them to prepare to do much of the work with the Red River Basin Commission.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, if we have a resolution, we should bring it forward and we'll see where it goes.
Just go back and share the document. And
Madam Mayor,
Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
I don't think the screen sharing is working.
oh, I apologize. Which one have you seen?
Can you see the,
Can you see the agenda now? Would you like to see the letter again, madam?
No, it's fine, I read it over, but just for it being on Zoom, that the agenda's just been up the whole time, so.
Okay, I'll make sure that I switch back and forth properly. Thank you.
It's okay, just to let you know.
Okay, I haven't been bringing up the resolutions for sharing, only the agenda and the items that need to be shared. So, resolved, council authorized renewal of membership for 2022 to the Red River Basin Commission in the amount of $3,075.41.
can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, second. Second, Councillor Sutherland. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so I believe that takes us down to number 8 on our agenda, which is our accounts. And we have our accounts ending for the period ending February the 22nd, being today. And I will ask Deepak to please read the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The resolution is resolved. Council approved the February 22nd, 2022 list of accounts, check numbers 22000305 to 22000395 in the amount of $460,360.72 for payment.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Horvis seconds. Any discussions or questions or comments on the list of accounts? Hearing and seeing nothing, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
And Madam Mayor,
Go
if I
ahead.
may, at last meeting of the closed list of accounts, there was some questions regarding the porta potties and what they were for. Did go back and investigate, so the Country Johns, there was one that was for the Guns Creek grant project that was brought in, and it will be covered as part of the costs related to the grant that was received for the Guns Creek. It was used as a part of a porta potty when we were hauling the mud away, and it was available there for the people to use. and it will be claimed as mentioned. And the others are for the porta potties at the transfer stations that we purchased this year, for the heated porta potties, and there were covers as well for those porta potties. With electric heat at these two locations, we can use them safely with electric heaters along with these covers to satisfy the bathroom requirements at those transfer stations. So that's what the porta potties are there for. And Clark is still yet to be done.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Yes, we did.
Yes, we voted. This is just an additional.
Additional
That's a
piece of
question.
info? Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so that takes us down to bylaws, and we do have one bylaw on for second and third reading today, and that is the renewal of our line of credit. So I will let Deepak speak to that.
As mentioned previously, this is our annual renewal for the line of credit. As I will continue to state that it is a precautionary measure, and for the last 3 years, we have not had to rely on the line of credit, which is good news, and if we don't rely on it, there's no cost to the RM.
Okay, so there is a resolution for second reading, so if I can have Deepak please read that.
Resolved, bylaw 3 of 2022 being a bylaw to provide for the renewal of annual line of credit be given second reading.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Horwath seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Please remember for third reading, it is an automatic recorded vote, so please keep your hand up for a minute so that we can make sure we have everybody's vote. So I will ask Deepak to read that resolution.
Resolved, bylaw 3 of 2022 being a bylaw to provide for the renewal of annual line of credit be read a third time.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Strang seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, so we are now down to communications for information. And Deepak, was there anything that you wanted to touch on there?
One of the ones that I wanted to touch on was the fires 10.4.1. This is for the thank you email from Selkirk, and let me just bring it up and share it with everybody. Councilor Councilor
When you do that, Mr. Administrator, can you move the agenda up after as well, too, please?
Oh, certainly.
We're having a heck of a time here today.
I'm trying something new, which is using 2 different types of screens. So, can you see the letter? I can increase in size and make it a little bigger. So it's basically from the from Selkirk Fire Services, the Emergency Response Service, and they wanted to thank for the help that we received from one of our crew members. There were a few others, but they specifically highlighted one of our members, Jason, for the help that was when we provided some mutual aid response for the fire. And I just wanted to highlight, saying thank you. You know that this is always good news to hear that another fire crew sees the benefit not only of our mutual aid, but of our members and the contribution that they're making in order to support them.
Okay, any questions or comments? It's always kind of nice to get those letters where our guys have helped our neighbors and vice versa. If we have help from our neighbors, it's always nice to acknowledge that they've helped us also. Okay, so was there anything else that any members of council wanted to discuss that is under information correspondence? Go ahead,
Councilor
Deepak.
Strang.
Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
10.2.2, was Brenna going to be submitting anything for grant applications with some of the groups?
Brenda has identified to the groups, specifically the Heritage Committee as well as St. Jude's, that the grant deadline has been extended. And as far as I understand, St. Jude's has already made an application for the Historic Resources Grant. We gave them a supporting letter as part of that. Heritage Committee, I'm not sure whether they will or not. We didn't have anything specific there, but Brenda made sure that they were aware of the deadlines. As well as Brenda's also made aware of any other grants that have come up, as even the accessibility grant, to make sure that all our community centers and everyone is aware of it. Whether they qualify or not, at least they're made aware of it.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments on the info correspondence? If not, I think we can move on to our council reports. And I'm going to start today with Councillor Bazarowicz, who is in the council chamber here, and then we'll go to everyone who is on Zoom.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. All I have to report on is the committee of the whole. It was on the February 15th. I think everybody else was there. A lot of it was in camera, and that's it.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so I'm just going to start at the top. So Councillor Strang, if you want to go ahead, please.
February 9th, I was at the announcement at our floodway for the sewer connection expansion. I think Councillor Bazarowicz was there too. And that was very exciting, very interesting what was going on in the tent. That we had I've had a few phone calls. I think people thought that maybe the winter carnival was coming back, but when I told them what was going on, they were very impressed. So I don't know, I haven't looked in the paper to see if the article came out, because Caitlin was there to do an article on it, and the ministers were out. It was very exciting. It was great to see what was going on inside the tent. February 14th had our RRPD, a special in-camera meeting. February 15th, I also attended Committee of Whole and with Public Works to do a snow clearing, gravel info, and Baconia well info, and we also discussed a little bit on the budget. And February 16th, we also had another Red River planning meeting, probably our fastest one ever. It only lasted 30 minutes, and we had everything completed. And we had 3 items come through for the Arm of St. Clements. And that's everything for me.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Strang. Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also attended the funding announcement on February the 9th for the South End Street project, as well as the Committee of the Whole meeting on February the 15th. Councillor Strang covered it all. I think we did talk a little bit about spring flooding also, and that possibility that's coming forward. And February the 17th, we had a Gaynor Regional Library meeting, which was a regular meeting. Financially, we've done pretty well, and the audit, we passed the audit, so Mr. Administrator, you should expect to get that within the next 10 days or so for our audit. We're still mostly curbside, but of course that's going to change soon. But circulation on curbside was up 20% over last January, and e-books were up 45% over last January. Programming is still challenging in some areas. Adult, there isn't much. Baby time record 40 families that have been in baby time. Story time's been less due to COVID. Seniors, at this point, we're still delivering books. We're looking at mid-March to start some programming. Not much tourism heritage. Cafe is closed. There may be a new person interested in opening it back up. Actually, we did reopen the library for the public on February the 15th. We sent in our provincial grant application. I think I mentioned this before, but Mr. CAO, we were short one citizen rep. So you'll be getting an email from our librarian, but I think we put an ad in the paper last time. For people who were interested. The rest of the council can correct me if I'm wrong. And that's about it. We were going to start on our strat plan, but we actually are going to set up a separate meeting to do strategic planning. I'll answer any questions if I can. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Councillor Spicer, and you are right, normally when we need citizen reps on any committees, we do put an ad in the paper unless somebody comes forward and lets us know that they are interested, but I believe the library, we usually do put an ad in the paper, just in the local paper and of course on our website, so administration will look after that. Anything else for Councillor Spicer? Okay, Councillor Horbis, do you have anything that you would like to share with us today?
All I have is my committee of the whole, and February the 15th. That's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Boulanger?
Just the committee of the whole meeting on the 15th, that's it.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Sutherland?
Yes, Madam Mayor, the same for me, February 15th, committed to the whole meeting. That's it.
Okay, thank you for that. Well, I guess I do have a few more. I always put our last council meeting, so I have February the 8th, a council meeting. I was at the sewer expansion announcement. I did, kind of just right at the end of the session, I joined in with the RRPD for the RRPD Builder Education session, and this was something that I guess because of all the activity going on in some of the municipalities, there's been a lot of questions and a lot of, I don't want to say confusion, but a lot of things going on that could run a little bit smoother. So in conjunction with West St. Paul, RRPD put on a builder session, and the Manitoba Building Association was in attendance. And it was very well attended. I think Jennifer said that there were over like 60 builders or people that were in attendance. So that was good. And at our regular meeting, we kind of talked about it and said, maybe there should be another one for the other municipalities. Like I know, we know that East and West St. Paul are very busy, but other municipalities also have building going on. And if there are questions being asked and people are not happy, this might be a way to kind of get the builders on track with the new cloud permit and, kind of the process of how things go when you apply for a building permit. So that may be coming up. I'm not exactly sure when it will be. February the 11th, we had an RRPD special committee meeting, and that was just the committee members to discuss to review and discuss the settlement proposal with the city of Selkirk. We are getting closer, and hopefully in the not too distant future we will be able to submit something for the minister to consider. Councillor Strang reported on the special meeting of the 14th. Committee of the whole, I was here, and then on the 16th we had our regular RRPD meeting. February the 17th there was the Municipal Silica Sand Advisory Committee. and that's to do with that silica sand operation in Springfield. So they were supposed to have some public hearings back, I don't know when they were supposed to be, but they were canceled. They were supposed to be in Enola, but they were canceled. There have been no new dates have been set for the hearings. The company name has changed, and I guess some were asking, does that affect, you know, what's been done to date? It doesn't seem that it does. And there is some additional information on the public registry. I haven't had a chance to go and look at it yet. I'm not sure if our CAO has. Then KGS was there and presented their work plan, and their focus is going to be on the hydrology of the area. And I guess what they want to know is everybody's concerns so that they can address some of the concerns that come forward from the participating municipality. There were no new members brought on board at this point in time. Risho is considering, and it was decided that a letter of invitation be sent to MMF and to the Southern Chiefs Organization. That's kind of where that one was at. Oh, and yesterday I had a North Red Water Maintenance meeting. And hopefully, not hopefully, but this could very well be the last meeting for the corporation. We have the dissolution papers, and the meeting was called as the documentation to dissolve the corporation has been received, and the committee needed to review what monies were still required to be paid out, what money should be left in case of unexpected expenses, so we worked through that. I will be giving Deepak a check for some additional funds from that, and I will talk a little bit more about that in camera. And we will leave some money in the account for 1 year, and we also talked about, I guess it would be like a liability insurance for the three of us as municipal elected officials, but also for the executive director. If there are any claims in the next year, we need to make sure that we are all covered. So we did some investigating on that, and Mayor Johansson was going to check with their solicitor to make sure that the four of us are all covered in case something does come up in the next year. So, and that's all I have. If anybody has any questions, I'll try and answer them. Go ahead, Rob.
If the corporation is dissolved, what could come up a year later that would affect you guys? I'm just wondering.
Well, we're not sure because, you know, I guess there are some concerns, and maybe I'll just talk a little bit more about it in camera.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Deepak for his report. So if you could, Mr. Administrator, that'd be great.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So you see my sharing, and looks like we have somebody in the waiting room. So I provided an update on our capital projects last meeting, and so I didn't think that there was enough progress to be providing any further updates, other than those projects are further on time and on relatively on budget, as was anticipated so far. There hasn't been anything out of the ordinary on those. In the case of the RM, our offices are continuing to be open, and we are encouraging social distancing and wearing of masks as per the current provincial restrictions and the public health orders related to COVID. All staff are now working from the office as the provincial health COVID health guidelines are being relaxed. We felt that it was important to start bringing all staff back. In light of the new health guidelines, we will also be opening up the council chamber for delegations and observers, while still encouraging social distancing for those in attendance and removing the requirement to be fully vaccinated after March 15th. And after March 1st, we will stop checking for fully vaccination, but after March 15th, there will be also no requirement for masks in attendance, unless council wanted to have a discussion on that. I do have an item in the agenda to talk a little bit about what to do post-COVID as an RM, and I have some things that I'd like to discuss. Some are HR related, and that's why it's going to be in camera. The question?
Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
I just have a question. Will we, just to carry on with what Deepak said, will we be carrying on with Zoom? Just if we have a council member that isn't feeling 100%, or that anybody that's wanting to Zoom in, will that still be an option, that since this has been a new thing that's been brought into our municipalities?
Good question. Yes, my intent is to continue with Zoom as well as a recording of all our meetings. And I wanted to have a little bit of discussion with council on that as to what are some of the procedures and processes, how we would want to follow for council as well as for staff as we move forward in a post-COVID world. I would encourage for us to start talking about it now because I think this will be something that's going to be brought up. I had placed this on the agenda within our own management team, and just as of this weekend, there was already some articles about various businesses and communities dealing with the post-COVID world on certain technologies and work methods that have been adopted during COVID, would they still be going on in the future? So I think it's worthwhile for us to have that discussion.
Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger, and I think some of this discussion that Deepak is speaking of will be having in camera, so, but go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
Well, I can leave that. I was just going to say the equipment we purchased and the clarity and the sound is second to none. It's really good. So on that note, if we do move forward with it occasionally, at least we got the technology in place.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead, Deepak.
So number 2 is the election preparation update. So we've contacted all polling station locations. We have some stuff to discuss with council because it's a budgetary issue that we've got it in camera. Sending out rental contracts to all the ones that we'd be looking at connecting with. Communications have also occurred with Sunrise School Division, North Selkirk School Division, and other senior election officials. And we will begin review of the election list starting in the middle of March. And advanced polls and poll location maps have been completed, which I will discuss with you afterwards. The other is the year-end review has begun, which, as I've already mentioned to council, and working on the 2022 budget preparations. One of the things I wanted to highlight today is that we are exploring options for a budget open house to be conducted online and in person, taking into consideration the new provincial health guidelines. So if we are able to meet within those guidelines, and we may be able to do something a little bit more for this year's budget that COVID restricted us from doing in the past. The other is my general meetings, which are the Committee of the Whole meeting on the 15th, Regional Force Main Project, as well as the Benton Water Services Project, or Water Services Board on our water treatment plant, RRPD in the province of Manitoba on various grant applications, as well as been talking with Manitoba Water Services Board on the Grand Marais Force Main study. The RFP should be going out for engineering services associated to that study very shortly, and then various general meetings with business operations and developers.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions for Deepak? Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
That RFP that's going on regarding the Grand Marais Force Main study, Deepak, is it an RFQ looking for numbers and data for going to the provincial lagoon and the park and ours, or just to the park?
It's doing a pre-design, so it'll be a design to look at both the provincial lagoon and our lagoon, and look at options for both.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions for Deepak? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Heather, do you have anything that you would like to share with us today?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, so that kind of concludes our meeting information as far as general business. We do have, of course, our planning hearings at 6 o'clock, but it is pretty early, so I think at this point in time, we are going to move in camera and see how much of our in-camera items we can get before our supper break. So if I could have a resolution, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If you just give me a second, I accidentally closed the screen that I want to show everybody on the.
He's supposed to be coming, but I'm not sure. Derek.
Derek is coming. At 3 o'clock, he's in the waiting room.
Oh,
And
okay.
we're gonna do it as an in-camera item.
Okay, yeah.
And let me just bring it up as. Wedding. So there's a screen, and although it'll be only for a very short period of time while I do the in-camera resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, resolved, council recess the regular meeting and go into in-camera to discuss legal and personnel issues. And further be it resolved that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Belanger, Councillor Bazarowitz seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And it will just take a minute to stop the recording, and then we will have our delegation come forward.
Recording stopped.
It's just the one, not the other.
Oh, okay.
I'm just letting Derek in, and I'm gonna start now sharing the proper meeting agenda so you can see me. Now you can see all the items on the in-camera.